Callan 2.0. Callan on steroids. Callan plus Macklin, a new animal. Well, we'll see. I had too much coffee this morning, so I'm really thinking a lot and dreaming a lot and scheming a lot, and a long drive. So anyway, the main thrust of today's discussion is how to evolve the Callan method. They've already taken the steps to change a little bit, in that they've started what they call teach each other, TEO. So in other words, their books are redesigned so that two people can work together and learn a lot of the, most of the material can be handled that way. So many people now are searching on the internet and doing learning on the internet. And as you've seen on the blog and other things that we're doing, we're going along that route too. But now I'm thinking that, well, let's embrace that. Let's make that part of the model that we're doing. So what I'm just going to throw what's in my mind right now. Of course, this is all going to grow, and we so much need other people to come on board. Students who don't know any English are just as important in helping us develop this idea as people like Jennifer ESL and Mr. Duncan and Ian with Speak Your Mind. I think we're all going to this new event horizon, and it's going to take all of us to figure it out and to go to this new land, which is a new way to learn and to use the internet and to connect. This is going to be a community thing, and it's going to take everybody. It takes a village. You've heard that. Well, now we're talking world village. Anyway, where I'm coming from now is, okay, so Callan has started the teach each other English thing. So in other words, there's your core textbook for the initial learner. We are posting at my ESL friends an awful lot of material that will support those efforts. And there certainly are Callan schools now, traditional Callan schools, which are probably the fastest and the strongest, most robust way to learn a language. But a lot of you don't have that option. A lot of you don't have the money. And a lot of you teachers don't have the expertise or the time to set up a fully functioning school. So is there something new that we can create together? So here's the idea. 3 or 4 young people want to teach themselves English. Let's just say, for the sake of conversation, they have very little money. But between the 3 or 4 of them, they could afford to download 2 of the books from Callan. 1 or 2 of them might be able to afford to have a good internet connection and computer. Well, by pooling their resources, they can create a mini school, and just for themselves, at least to start with. And they're all sharing in the cost thereby. Nobody cheats Callan. I want to emphasize that up front. And you know, I think that he understands, and their organization understands, that some people cannot afford to buy, even as inexpensive it is, all the books. But you can afford to work together with somebody else. So at least you can try to do the right thing. All right. Enough said to cover my bases with Callan. I respect those guys. I don't always agree with them, but they have blazed the trail. They have created the path for the rest of us to follow on. Now it's time for all of us, and there's a lot of different people trying to evolve the Callan system for today's users. Anyway, I get preaching. I'm sorry. I better cut this one off and add another one. But, all right, so we got those people. We have people in the United States who know English and can speak English well, but they certainly don't want to go start a school, and they don't have the time to do that, but they want to help people and maybe make a little bit of money. Okay, that's not out of the question for them to spend their time. But let's say that there's a little old lady in Pennsylvania, and there's some young people in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I live. Well, let's create a portal where at the very start, they can start learning how to be teachers, and primarily at the starting point as a Callan Method teacher on the internet. And you can certainly stop and see what I've been doing, but basically their only function to start with is to be that native speaker, that they develop their listening skills to catch mistakes in pronunciation, to mimic the mistake, and then to give the correct pronunciation. And so they want to hear and correct, and then they want to speak well so that the people can hear and hear English at its normal pace, which is pretty fast. And so that's what they bring to the table. Now, certainly volunteers will be encouraged, and that'll be at least the core of how this community functions, because there's a lot of people that want to help people and want to be friendly to people. You'd be surprised. A lot of people in the world have a low opinion of America, but Americans, they're some really good people, and they want to help people. And a lot of them, because of their faith paradigm, because they feel that they need to give back beyond just the humanistic aspects, but because of what God has given them. So this is a venue for them to give back and to help other people. So anyway, now we have two groups of people: very small schools and very small teacher operations. Well, we can put them together in our portal, our My ESL Friends, in chat rooms, if you will, but only video, audio chats. We don't want to deal with all the typing. There's plenty of typing chats out there. And now we've created a little mini economy. At some point, if that little mini school wants to go beyond just a little help room that might be operated by volunteers, want to once a week just do a review only and have someone who's a native speaker, critique them and help them. Well, now that they can afford, between the 4 or 5 students, they can afford maybe $5 or $10 an hour to pay one of the people that we know about to, do that little mini class. Well, now we start to have a grassroots, what we call bootstrap school. Okay, the next video that I'm going to talk about is going to be what that next step might look like. So hopefully this is encouraging you. More importantly, hopefully this gets you to say, hey, maybe this is something that could happen. Maybe this is something that could help me, could help my friends. Could be a God thing, the way you want to, what motivates you. But looking for people to help us evolve this idea and to bring English communications and intimacy, touching and being touched, worldwide. Yeah, that sounds kind of sappy. Okay, so I'm cutting off for now. I'll start another one pretty quick here.